Hello, pretty people. It is Sarah. Today is Tuesday, and I'm here to discuss, what am I here to discuss? Frugalness? Being frugal? Frugality? Being money conscious. And the tips and the tricks that I do personally to help better our frugal situation. I've come up with a couple things that I wanted to share with you that are like major things that help me and my husband save money because we live in a pretty expensive area and I am not employed. You could call me unemployed, you could call me a homemaker, what have you, but I am not contributing any source of income to our situation. So our situation is totally reliant on his salary. Which is more than enough that we'd ever need to get by because he is even more frugal and simple and waste not, want not, quality over quantity than I am. I am not nearly as good as he. Actually, if it were up to him, we'd be living like minimalists. So the first big thing that we do to save on the money is we only have one car. When we lived in Michigan, we had two vehicles. One of them is fully paid for. That's the vehicle that we still have now. And the other vehicle was a leased vehicle that we ended up having to voluntarily repossess back to the car company when my husband lost his job. And it all worked out because it was like a sports car, so when they sold it at auction, it auctioned for pretty much as we paid for it because he took really good care of it. So we ended up almost breaking even though the car got repoed. But anyway, so that left us with one vehicle, and we only have one vehicle because things in California, car-wise, are really freaking expensive. Like, registration every year is probably 4 or 5 times as much as it was that we were paying in Michigan. So having one car really helps us cut down on costs like that. We really don't need to have two cars because my husband picked an apartment for us to move into last year that is close enough to his work that he can bike. And since we live in Southern California, he can bike to work year-round. And there are times where, weather, it does rain sometimes, and sometimes it's just really cold, or like, he was sick last week, so I let him take the car for a couple days when he was feeling better just so that, he wouldn't get more sick. But we trade off on using the car, and most of the time the car stays downstairs in the garage. So, we don't really drive, and we don't really go anywhere. So that helps us save a lot of money too, because we're not bar people, we don't drink, so we don't really go out to the bar. We like to go out to really nice dinners, but that's something that, maybe we do once or twice a month. And we like to order in and have movie night, which we splurge on doing more often than the nice dinners, but it's still, it's something to look forward to. And because we're saving money in other places, we can have more free spending money to go other places, which is neat. So having one car, biking to work, when we go grocery shopping, I try to use coupons. Lately though, which is really cool, we found a new grocery store that's more like a farmer's market, and they have a lot more fresh food, a lot less canned, refined food. And when we went grocery shopping, we thought our bill was going to be like how it usually is, like about maybe between like $160 and $190, but it wasn't. It was like $120. A bag of oranges at our old grocery store would be like $8, whereas at this new grocery store it's like $4. And like really nice butter, which would have cost $4.99 at our old grocery store, sold it for $1.99. It was crazy. And they have my favorite dairy creamer, and they've got coffee too, which I think is really important. I need to get a coffee grinder. Speaking of coffee, I use a reusable coffee filter, so we never have to buy coffee filters. I also use dish towels and hand towels in the kitchen to reduce paper towel waste, even though we do buy paper towels and my husband goes through them like water. I try to use towels. It's just about finding different ways to be thrifty about different things that you're doing. And I've got other examples of when my husband has a t-shirt that he's going to throw out, I don't throw it out, I cut it up and I sew it into something, usually into like cleaning towels to like clean the floors in the bathroom, or like clean the countertops, wipe down the countertops, etc. Or like if the cats puke, I can like use that to clean it up and then just throw it out because I was going to throw it out anyway. I'm pretty much like using fabrics as much as possible. I also sew cat beds out of them, and a whole other array of things that could be used. I like sewing. Knowing how to sew does save me a lot of money, and Miss Pam had a very good point that like if you don't know how to sew, you should probably YouTube that, and at least like at the very minimal like know how to, you know, repair a hem, like a really simple stitch. Oh, I went off on a tangent there. I do that a lot. I feel like I'm rambling today, but I'm gonna come back to the food thing. So we found a new grocery store, and it's really good. It's really affordable, and that's the one thing. I won't skimp on car insurance because you never know, and I also won't skimp on food that we eat because food, you're a filter, and whatever you put in has got to come out, and you don't want to get all gunky in the process. At least that's how I feel about it. Another thing that I do in the kitchen, I brew my own green tea. We will go to the store and we will buy a store-bought container of something, and we'll save the container, and I'll add 2 or 3 tea bags to it and fill it up with our Brita. We have a Brita because you can't drink the city water. I wouldn't drink the city water without it being filtered. So we have a Brita, and I just fill up the Brita and then fill up the jugs, and we've got 3 jugs right now, and I've got all sorts of different kinds of tea, so we always have different kinds of iced tea, and it's a really inexpensive way to have drink variety without having to pay a lot of money for it, store-bought. The bills are bills. We do have credit card debt, but not very much, thank goodness. And we also have school bills, which if you have a school loan, you know they almost take your whole life to pay off. So we just keep plugging away at that. If any time that I'm paying anything, I always try to pay at least $50 over the minimum, because if you're paying the minimum, you're only paying the interest, and the principal never really goes down, and then it's pointless. It's like throwing your money in a black hole, and your debt's still there. So I always try to pay above the minimum. Oh, and another thing too, quitting smoking. Quitting smoking saved us so much money. It's incredible, and we only just quit within the past year, but before that I was rolling my own cigarettes, which means that I'd go buy loose tobacco and papers in a rolling machine, and I'd sit there, and if I really wanted a cigarette, I would sit down and roll my own cigarette, but I'd only roll one at a time because that's how I was. I used to smoke like a pack and a half a day when I was in high school. Wow, I feel like a totally different person now, but I used to smoke about a pack and a half a day, and then I weaned myself from menthols to non-menthols, and then I started rolling my own cigarettes, which saved me so much money. Even though we lived in Michigan, which has one of the highest tobacco taxes in the country, and so even a pouch of tobacco was still $5 or $6, and then I'd have to buy the filters separate, which would be like another $2, but it was still way cheaper than buying a pack of cigarettes. And then we moved out here, and I was doing the same thing, and I really wanted to quit, and it took me about 6 months to mentally prepare myself to quit. And then I picked my quit date, and that was April 2nd this year, and I've quit for that long, a little over 7 months now. I haven't touched a cigarette, like seriously. I even have a hookah in my kitchen cabinet that has tobacco and charcoal and everything ready to go, but I have not had the urge or want to go back in that direction at all. And yeah, so quitting smoking, that was huge. That saves us at least $1,000 a year, if not more. Entertainment-wise, we do Netflix, which is a certain amount per month. But we can rent as many movies as we want to, and we can also watch it via streaming on Netflix off the PS3, which means like really endless movie choices. So we save a lot of money there because we pay probably about 1/3 of what it would cost for us to have just basic cable. Mostly right now we're throwing most of our money on the bills because Kelly touched on that yesterday, that she's aiming to be stress-free, I was about to say. She's aiming to be debt-free, and so are we, but we have a lot of debt. And, you know, not a lot, but like, you know, probably just as much as every other average American who has school loans and a credit card. So, we're paying that down, and so we haven't been putting very much into savings, but we do put a little bit away into savings, and that's like rainy day money. Be frugal about, clothing and makeup, cosmetics, beauty stuffs, of course, because a beauty vlog, so of course, clothing and makeup and good smelling stuff. The thrift stores around me really suck, so I haven't been thrifting. I've actually been purchasing all of my clothes at Target. And what I do is I go in at the end of the season, so, you know, at the end of the summer or at the end of the fall or at the end of the winter, and they usually have everything from the previous season on sale, and then you can just buy everything for like, you know, 30 to 50% off, and it's a really, really, really good deal. I really do like nice things, but I'm okay with having to wait until that nice thing is on sale or can be acquired in some other fashion to get a better deal on it, because it's still the same thing. You're still going to use it the same way. It's just a different price that you paid for it from a different venue. So that's how I feel about like I'll buy some things at the dollar store, makeup, hand soap, cleaning supplies, but I've taken to buying a lot of my makeup at like CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, because I am afraid to become addicted to high-end cosmetics, because I think that they're nice to indulge in every once in a while, but I never want to be, you know, like, I don't know, I could think of so many other things to spend that kind of money on, I guess. I just think differently in terms of beauty, so buying drugstore is fine for me. I'll always wait until something's on sale, like a buy one, get one half off, or like 40% off, or, you know, 50% off, or buy one, get one free, and then I'll go and I'll get it. And actually my CVS gives me a lot of coupons. You go and you like scan your little shopper card and they just like spit them out. So I always like to go when I fill my prescriptions to the little coupon counter and scan my card just to see what kind of deals that I can get that particular day. So I'm a big coupon person and like a shopping incentive reward person. Like Best Buy, we do rewards points through them, and every now and again we'll get like a $5 or a $10 certificate that we can use towards purchasing movies and stuff like that. I'm at a loss for anything else. I could scramble my brain to tell you guys what I do. Well then that's that. Thank you everyone so much for watching today. I hope you found maybe something useful out of all the blabber I just went on and on about. So long for now then, friends. I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.